3 hidden signs that employees are about to quit. If you notice these 3 behaviors, it's time to be extremely cautious. Because a single spark can quickly turn into a full-blown wildfire, and bam, just like that, the wave of resignations has started. You'll find out exactly which specific warning signs to look for ahead of time, and how you can avoid or even prevent them, right here. Especially these days, every company is glad to be able to keep good employees. Anyone with leadership responsibilities knows all too well that the workday is already packed with organizational tasks, and unfortunately, there's far too little time left for real leadership. That's why this limited time should be used as effectively as possible. So, paying attention and sharpening your own senses becomes extremely important, because realistic leadership time is a scarce resource. As a manager, you're also constantly expected to keep performing. You get a lot of pressure from above because the people below aren't performing as expected or are even quitting, and that's just a no-go. By the way, Gregor, the production manager of a metalworking company with 341 employees, was in exactly the same situation. Half a year ago, he contacted me at the request of his boss, who had discovered me through my YouTube channel. Gregor said, "Christoph, we don't want to end up in a situation where it's too late to make a change. My boss is really panicking about getting hit by a wave of resignations. That's why we absolutely need help." After the final briefing with Gregor and his boss, we got started right away. So just like with every analysis, I spent the initial period right in the thick of things, with the teams, at the workstations, and in the projects, to get a clear first-hand picture of the situation on site. It was similar in Gregor's area of responsibility, with his teams as well. Just like with the roughly 120 companies whose work areas and productivity status I've analyzed over the past 5 years. The teams did their jobs, then fulfilled the tasks described in their job descriptions. Through the numerous personal interviews, I learned, not just directly from the people themselves, most of whom were very dissatisfied with the overall work situation, but also through careful observation, that people were just going through the motions. And nothing more. That was something else. Here are the key statements from the interviews. In the interviews, employees commented, among other things, on the work process, which they found monotonous. They felt left alone, directionless, and saw no opportunities for development for themselves. And they explained this, in turn, by saying, "Because management doesn't take responsibility for properly guiding us employees, regularly informing us, and supporting us. Our management sets far too little of an example for us to see any point in being loyal and committed." Of course, management has a completely different perspective. They were firmly convinced that employees should just work and do their jobs well. Everyone actually knows what needs to be done, and yet, as management, we constantly have to point things out, remind, and admonish again and again. That's just crazy. So why should we change our approach if the basics still aren't right? In this company, too, dissatisfaction and almost stifled engagement started to develop, step by step. The following behaviors are the 3 visible warning signs to watch out for. This is heading in a certain direction. Now it's time to take action. Sign number 1. People are almost silent, often hanging their heads. Their engagement is fading. The growing lack of motivation is clearly noticeable. And sometimes, often, this even goes hand in hand with missed hours and sick days. This is the beginning of resignation. Sign number 2. People are easily irritable. At the slightest instruction or criticism, they immediately fly off the handle. They instantly start justifying and defending themselves. The growing dissatisfaction is clearly noticeable. You can feel it. And that's actually already the last warning sign. Sign number 3. One person or another suddenly hands in their resignation without any warning or comment. All of a sudden, they quit. On top of that, it's usually the best employees who quit first. And if you're not careful, more and more will follow, step by step. That's pretty much the final stage. A reaction of frustration. When I shared these results with Gregor and his boss, they were surprised because they hadn't expected such clear warning signs. These reactions also showed me that the perspectives and assessments of those in leadership and the staff can be worlds apart. One side doesn't understand the other, and so they interpret incidents and situations completely differently. That might sound trivial, but that's exactly what I've seen firsthand in about 120 companies. The same situation, the same issue, but employees and managers interpret it in completely different ways. It's just crazy. And it's exactly the same when it comes to possible solutions, requests for change. If you don't understand the other side, there's no meaningful change. And really, there's no development at all, just more frustration and chaos. And with that, a whole lot of resignations, which is now putting some companies in danger of going out of business. Gregor and his boss wanted to get out of this dangerous situation as quickly as possible before it was too late. So they brought both sides, staff and management, closer together again, using concrete points and understandable approaches. That's exactly how we started. And the important thing was to sharpen the understanding for the other side, so that everyone is aware and everyone understands what do I actually get out of it? And just like that, both sides have a common motive. By the way, it's their own personal benefit. Here are the first two important steps that also turn things around in this company. Step 1. Leadership becomes more of a role model. And the question the managers asked me about this was, tell me, Christoph, why should we be even more of a role model instead of giving clearer instructions? How do other companies handle this? Okay, a good leader is more of a listener and less someone who constantly gives so-called advice or even complains. When leadership shows that they understand the situation and the challenge, they actively take responsibility and, in doing so, earn the trust of the staff. This gain in trust then became the key for the leaders to start being willing to admit their own mistakes, to be more human, following the motto, nobody is perfect, but they try to be better. This then led to employees' fear of making mistakes dropping rapidly, even almost disappearing. And that was a significant developmental boost, because being free from fear is proven to be a good foundation for innovation and increasing employee engagement. With these arguments, the leader's ambition was sparked. Step number 2. We give work more meaning. And once again, leadership asked why meaning was so important. We thought that if the pay was right, everything else was just a side issue. Hey, of course it's important to pay a fair, decent, and market-appropriate salary. But please don't define yourself by your salary. Your extra benefits package is what really matters. For example, flexible working hours or work models, opportunities for further training, and targeted support are the special extras. The special extras you can offer your employees and should provide them, so they choose your company and not the competition. Create a work environment for your people where everyone can grow and everyone wants to grow. That's what real purpose looks like in action. Gregor and his boss were relieved that in their company, too, these two steps were embraced enthusiastically by both management and staff. They were accepted and put into practice. It was the urgently needed boost at just the right time. By the way, this positive development hasn't stopped to this day. They keep moving forward because everyone is genuinely excited to keep working on it and to grow. And if this has sparked your interest too, just remember that I've talked to so many companies who had the same bottleneck and got stuck. In those cases, even just one conversation with an initial analysis helped uncover the first important ideas. If you feel like it's becoming urgent, then now is the time to have that conversation. And do it soon. If you act early enough, you can already accomplish a lot. Get this analysis in a conversation. Just click the link below and pick a time that works for you to talk on the phone. And then we'll tackle it together. Don't wait too long. Because even the best strategies won't help if it's already too late. Unfortunately, some people in charge come too late, and at that point, there's really nothing more you can do. So get in touch. I'm already looking forward to it. And then we'll talk about it. Otherwise, see you next time. Take care. Bye.